Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate Finance Committee will please come to order. It is Friday, May 15th, 2026, around 6 p.m., and we are in Capitol G15. Welcome, everybody. In addition to the members seated here, we have on Zoom Senator Howe and Senator Pratt, and I believe Senator Pappas is here, so a quorum is present. The printed agenda will start with House File 3825, Senator Wiklund.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm here tonight with this bill that is familiar, or should look familiar to many of you. I presented the original Omnibus Scope and Licensing Bill. I don't remember which day it was, but it was not that long ago. Senate File 3295. And we had discussion in finance and on the floor with this bill. And what you see before you today is a negotiation, the outcome of a negotiation with the House. As we discussed items that were included in the health omnibus bill from the House, there were a couple items that overlapped our scope and licensing bill, but several others had traveled individually to the floor in the House. And what we decided to do is to bring together a collection of provisions that we agreed to with the House Conference Committee members, and put together this bill that has most of what we heard on the Senate floor with just a few changes. And so I'm just going to talk about the changes to the bill. There's a change to the acupuncture and herbal medicine practice Article 1. There's some updates to language that were made. There is the APRN, Article 11. We had an amendment on the floor with compromise language, and that is what is included in this bill. And then there was another amendment on the floor in the Senate that was related to health-related professions and practicing without a license that Senator McQuaid brought on the floor, and that amendment, that language is included. As far as language that was in Senate File 3295 that is not included in House File 3825, the provision related to physician assistants, which would have modified the title to become physician associate, that provision has been removed. And members, there is a short spreadsheet with items on there which are the same as when the bill was heard, and I can answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Senator Wiklund. Well done. We do have a DEA 26 amendment.
Yes.
Would you like us to put that on?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move the A26.
Senator Wiklund moves the A26 amendment. Members, it's in your packet. Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor of adoption of the A26 say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion prevails and the amendment is adopted. We have Mr. Bessel and Mr. Nauman here for fiscal questions, members. And Senator Wiklund, if you want, we have Ms. Heichel or Ali Hoffman likely to go through the bill provisions if you want. It's not necessary for the chair. We're planning to vote this to the floor. Up to you, of course.
Mr. Chair, unless there are questions, I don't see that we need to go through the articles, but.
Okay, thank you for that. Members, are there any questions? Senator Draheim? Question? All right. With that, Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Senator Wiklund, I missed earlier. What happened to your other licensing bill? It just wasn't moving in the House?
Senator Wiklund.
Correct. It was, we passed it off the floor.
Yeah.
So it went over to the House, and it's in their health committee.
So is this the same bill we passed off the floor?
Senator Wiklund.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pappas, there are 3 language changes. One is related to acupuncture and herbal medicine practice, and it had we had some additional updates to make to that language. The APRN amendment that was put on in the Senate on the floor. That language is included in here. And then the amendment that was put on the floor about practicing without a license, that amendment that is included in this bill. The only thing that is not included that we heard in the Senate floor was the provision that is related to physician assistants, and that would have modified the title to become physician associate, and that is not included.
Thank you, Senator Wiklund.
so
Senator
much, Mr.
Pappas.
Chairman. Thank you, Senator Wiklund, for that. Then this is a House file, so is the intention that we send it to them and they just concur?
Senator Wiklund.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pappas, yes.
Great, thank you so much for the workaround.
Members, last chance for questions for Senator Wiklund. With that, Senator Wiklund moves that House File 3825 as amended be approved to pass and sent to the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much, Senator Wiklund. You're on your way to the floor. Next up, members, we have House File 4591. I have Senator Gustafson listed. Senator Draheim. I think we're trying to reach Senator Gustafson. I think it's a good idea that we skip on the agenda, members. We'll go now while we're waiting for Senator Gustafson, who I think will be joined by Senator Zhang. Let's have Senator Pappas present Senate File 390. Good evening, Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, of course, you have my 100-page amendment for the bonding bill, right, ready to go?
We have
Right, Senator
just
Johnson?
completed it. We do not have any amendments here. Our intention for the bill is to pass it to the floor so it is ready when your bonding bill is ready. With that, Mr. Olafson's capital investment fiscal analysis, if we don't have any bill, it's going to be tough to make that last too long. Members, so our intention is to send this to the floor if there are no member questions. If you have
Mr.
any
Chairman,
further
Senator
comments.
Johnson had a comment he wanted to make.
Senator Johnson.
TBD on the language for this bill.
Thank you, Senator Johnson, for that update. Further comment. With that, Senator Pappas, you ready to move this to the floor?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that Senate File 390 be recommended to pass and sent to the Senate floor.
Senator Pappas moves that Senate File 390 be passed and sent to the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion prevails. You're on your way to the floor, Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, I think it'd be helpful to clarify for the members that one of these bills will be matched up with a House file. That will be the GO bonds pending a final agreement. And then the other bill, I can't remember which one, will be a cash bill that also will have bonding projects in it, but very limited.
Thank you, Senator Pappas. Glad to report that the staff had me take a guess, and I put that the bill we just passed was the cash bill, and the next one's the GO bond bill.
Okay.
So if that works out, great. With that, you are, in fact, the next item on the agenda. Senator Pappas here to present Senate File 2827. This is the vehicle bill, then, we think, for the GO bond. Senator Pappas.
I'd move that Senate Bill 2827 be recommended to pass and sent to the Senate floor. And also, members, before we vote, I will come back to this committee with a spreadsheet because I do think it's important that we do have a public hearing. It's unfortunate it's going to be on Sunday at 9 o'clock, but I would really like, as soon as we have an agreement, I would like the Finance Committee to review it so that we have a public viewing. I think that we've gone away from public bonding conference committees, and I hope that in my absence, I must be holding it back, that we'll start having more public meetings.
Thank you for that, Senator Pappas. With that, Senator Pappas moves that Senate File 2827 be passed and sent to the floor. Members, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion
Thank you.
prevails. And we're going to take a brief recess, still looking for the author of House File 4591. Folks, hang on for a sec here. Thanks, members. We stand in recess. We're going to come back out of recess and go back up the agenda for Senator Zhang to present House File 4591. We are waiting to hear from Senator Gustafson. And I want to mention for the record, Senator Marty is also online. So Senator Zhang, thank you for your patience. Here to present House File 4591. Senator Zhang, we also have a DE, the A8 at the desk. You have the floor, Senator.
Yes, thank you. Chair friends, have here agreement that includes state government appropriations that were part of the global deal, global agreement. Most notably, the bill funds grants for local public television stations. These funds are crucial to keep these stations operating after the federal government cuts to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and CPB closed its doors. It also includes funding for public radio stations. There is an appropriation for the Melissa and Mark Hortman State Park Working Group to get the process started for establishing a new state park in their honor and memory. Lastly, it's just the appropriations for the new office of the OIG. Many of the public policy provisions included in this bill are technical and increase program efficiency. We have two articles, one for the Board of Barber Examiners and one for the Board of Cosmetologist Examiners that will reduce barriers to entering in those professions, essentially updating the exams. Finally, we have additional changes to the grant management section of law, building upon the work this body has done over the past few years to increase accountability, reduce fraud, and ensure that we try to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars.
Thank you, Senator. We do have the A8. Would you like us to put the A8 on at this point, Senator?
Yes,
All right.
please.
Senator Champion moves the A8 amendment. Are there any questions for the author on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the A8, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The amendment is adopted. We have Mr. Erickson here to walk through the spreadsheet, and just for the members, that A8 is in your packets, and Ms. James is also here to explain provisions of the bill if necessary. Thank you, Senator Draheim. We do have an A9. Senator Zhang put that on at this time as well.
Yes, and I think there's the 810. There's the 8. Yeah, we'll do both.
All right, members, let's do this. We have the A9 in your packets. So Senator Champion moves the A9 amendment. All discussion not occurring. All those in favor of adopting the A9, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion prevails and the A9 is adopted. We have the A10 members and we're going to pass that out at this time. And then we'll have Mr. Erickson walk through the spreadsheet. And we still have Ms. James here should we have questions. Senator Champion.
And while that amendment is being passed out, just for clarity, Senator Young, this is the bill that had that prevailing wage language on it at one time. Is this the
No,
vehicle?
Senator Zhang.
Chair and Senator Champion, it's not included in this.
It's not included,
Yeah.
though. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Champion. Members, you should by now have a copy of the A10. We'll provide 15 seconds for you to read the A10 if you want. All right. Having taken the appropriate amount of time to review the A10, Senator Champion offers the A10 amendment. Members' discussions or questions to the A10? Senator Draheim.
Thank you, Chair. Can we get a little explanation on this? I'm not on Health and Human Services. I assume that's where this came from.
Yes.
Of course, Senator Draheim, Senator Zhang, we also have some phone a friend if you like. Let's start with Senator Zhang. Senator Zhang.
Thank you, Chair, and Senator Draheim. Ms. James can probably explain that a little bit more in detail, but it's part of I think it was Senator Lang bill that had
Ms.
that language in there.
Ms. James, thank
Or
you.
Senator Matthews, I'm sorry.
Ms. James, thank you for your patience. To the A10.
Madam Chair, or Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, members. She's used to me. Yeah. I don't actually have a copy in front of me, but I believe that it requires reporting on the decision by the Commissioner of Management and Budget to make the choice to not offer a high deductible healthcare plan to state employees in the manager's plan and in the unrepresented employees plan.
Thank you, Ms. James. Senator Draheim.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ms. James, for that explanation. And then I guess my only other question, Chair, is could we just get a brief what wasn't heard or what wasn't passed that's in the amendment, what came from the House that we didn't hear?
You're referring to the A10 amendment, Senator Draheim?
I am, thank you.
All right. So Senator Zhang, the question is, can you or Mr. Erickson or Ms. James explain what was and was not heard that's in the A10 before the committee?
Yeah,
Sorry, members, the A10 has been offered by Senator Champion, so let's deal with the A10 and then we'll have member questions. Are there any other questions or comments to the A10 as offered now that it's been explained by Ms. James? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the A10 say aye. All those opposed say nay. The A10 is adopted. Senator Draheim, I think, is asking for a little further testimony on the A8. Is that right, Senator Draheim? So Senator Zhang, the question before you is what in the A8 was and was not heard? And if you want to have Mr. Erickson or Ms. James go through it, it's up to you, Senator.
yeah, I have the language, but we're trying to point you to the correct section, Mr. Chair. It's
Ms. James.
Mr. Chair and members, the Section 8 in Article 2, the provision that requires the Commissioner of Administration to include a grantee fraud risk rating system is one that was not heard in state government. It comes from Senate File 4224, authored by Senator Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. James. Senator Draheim.
Thank you. Could we get a page on that, please?
Ms. James.
Yep. Mr. Chair.
Ms. James.
Mr. Chair, the page on that is page 7.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
then there is another provision that also was not heard in state government, and that is Section 1 in Article 2 and Section 2. Those sections also, which are on pages, Article 2, Section 1 and 2. That's on page 3.
Thank you, Ms. James. Senator Draheim.
I'm good, thank
You're good. All right, members, further questions to the bill as amended. It is, of course, our intention to send it to the floor. Mr. Erickson, thank you for your patience. We're going to walk through the spreadsheet.
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Chair and members. You have a spreadsheet in your packets that is time-stamped 3:25 p.m. You've now seen several versions of this spreadsheet, so I won't orient you the way that I've oriented you in the several times in the past. What you will see here is along the left side, the various agencies that are being appropriated to. This is incorporating a few parts of the agreement, and so when we get to the bottom, there is a split that shows sort of which targets it's allocated to. There's $86,000 in the bill for the legislature related to the Capital Area State Park Working Group. There is $1.825 million in grants for public television and $100,000 for AMPERS grants. These are both public broadcasting grants that are administered through the Department of Administration. There is a $1 million savings from a cancellation of an unused appropriation to MMB that was to help stand up the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. There are then a series of appropriations or appropriation reductions that are related to the Office of the Inspector General bill that passed earlier this week, and this bill is modifying a number of those appropriations. Specifically, there is $264,000 in additional funding for the OIG, $262,000 for data sharing preparation at the Department of Education, a reduction of $1.8 million to the Department of Human Services, which then creates a loss of FFP reimbursements that you'll see on line 27 of $590,000. And finally, a $561,000 appropriation to minute services for agency data sharing. You'll see that there is just a reference point for the other bill that was passed, Chapter 92, the OIG establishment, and then a couple of small revenue changes related to the Board of Barber Examiner and Board of Cosmetologist Examiner agency bills that are found in Articles 3 and 4 of the bill. So if you go down, I referenced this reconciliation, you'll see that that is an $86,000 change for memorial changes. There is not a subtotal of the changes for the OIG, but this pulls the total OIG bill into the target of $7.1 million and a subtotal of $925,000 one time for state government with an $8,000 change because of those revenue changes in the tails.
Thank you. Well done, Mr. Erickson. Members, do we have any questions for the author or either of the testifiers? Ms. James.
Mr. Chair, I identified one more section that was not heard by the committee. So I wanted to point that out on page 12, section 14. This sets the effective date for the Compensation Council to set the salary for the Inspector General in a way that makes it work.
Thank you, Ms. James. Senator Drahan, any further on the A8? Or you got what you need?
I'm perfect, thank you.
Okay, members, final opportunity for comments or questions before we go to the chief author for any closing comments before we send the bill to the floor. Seeing none, Senator Zhang.
No, thank you for, giving us a hearing and looking to get this through the finish line.
Thank you, Senator, for presentation. Given that Senator Champion moves that House File 4591 as amended be passed and sent to the floor, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion prevails. You're on your way to the floor. Senator Zhang, thank you for your patience. Members, we're going to recess. Education is still working on some of the provisions, and here is our timing comment for members of the Finance Committee. If they do not have an agreement by 9 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m., we won't come back tonight, but we'll try to get notice out much sooner than 9 p.m. Obviously, we don't have to wait till 9 p.m. to find out they're not going to be ready by 9 p.m. That's what our staff is planning on. Senator Jasinski.
Mr. Chair, any idea how much of a heads up we'll get?
Somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes is our best bet. Obviously, it's possible it will be sooner, and that's our intention. Senator Champion.
And Mr. Chair, one more
Sorry,
thing.
Senator Jasinski and
Do we have
then
any
Senator
idea
Champion.
when this will be?
Not any more than we're sharing. I mean, we're not sitting on some information, and it's later. It's for the drop dead time that I would like, but that's what we're going to go with. Senator Champion.
Do you have a sense of how this is going to impact the floor? Are we going to have staff at the front desk who has to stay here, and then they have to wait until whatever engrossments are done or the committee report, and then they still have to, once we're done on the floor, they're here for another 2 hours after that. So I just thought I would give you all that information.
Thanks, Senator Champion. It's an excellent question. I'm going to go to Ms. Elspeth.
Yes, we will try and get information out to folks as soon as possible. I don't have more info at the moment, but I know that we don't want to keep staff here any later than we need to. So we'll try to get info as quick as we can.
Chair?
Thank you, Ms. Calvert. Senator Champion, you still have the floor if you want it. Senator Champion's good. Senator Drahan.
Once we have the language, how long do you think it'll take? Or are we better off just coming in a little before we go to the floor tomorrow?
I'm going to go
Yeah.
right back to Ms. Calvert.
That is a great question that I also don't have the answer to. Again, we'll just try and get you as much more information as I can, as quickly as I can.
You should be able to text the committee administrator at any time between now and 9 in case you're trying to pick up information like I am to figure out tonight. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just again, I take in mind the budget. We've got a lot of increased security here. So coming back tomorrow earlier to do one bill would be relatively quickly versus waiting around tonight. Having all the security here and all those things I think should be taken under consideration. Again, we know our staffing, the amount of state patrol and Capitol security that are here. We could do it much more simpler tomorrow without wasting a lot of taxpayer money. Thank you.
Senator Jasinski, not only do I agree with you, but I'm going to go back to Ms. Cabot for a little bit more commentary on that point. I think all members would like to not only save time but money. Ms. Cabot.
If we could take a 5-minute recess, I could check in and see if I can get any more info before we take a longer recess.
On the chance that that's time well spent, we will recess for 5 minutes or less. Back to order. Members, we're now on agenda item 6, that is House File 2433. We are blessed to have Senator Steve Cwodzinski of Eden Prairie here with us. Senator Cwodzinski, we do have a delete all amendment at the desk. That's the A250 amendment. Senator Cwodzinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. I appreciate all of you sticking around. The last time I was this late, I was in a hotel and the power went out and I was stuck on the escalator for an hour. So it's the only tardy joke I have. So thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know you referred to it as the A250 amendment, but it's actually the semi-quincentennial amendment. So just to clarify. And it gets the bill in the shape of leadership, the agreement that leadership made. I just have 2 quick comments to make before I turn it over to the 2 bill authors. The global leadership agreement included a compensatory aid hold harmless at $10 million. The House DFL and GOP have agreed to use the Senate's hold harmless proposal from Senator Clark. The agreement also includes $5 million for an anonymous threat reporting system. Am I turning it over to Senator Bolden first?
Well, Senator, first of all, do you want us to put the A250 on?
Yes, please.
Senator Champion moves the A250. Members, any discussion? Members online? Hearing none. All in favor of adopting the A250, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion prevails and the amendment is adopted. Senator Cwodzinski, I have both Senator Clark and Senator Bolden listed as testifiers. You ready to have us go to Senator Clark?
Whoever you'd like to start with, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
We do show Senator Clark online. Senator Clark, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In committee, the compensatory aid portion of this bill reflects the ongoing, the same agreement that we have had throughout the Senate through the hearings and education finance, and where previous versions were providing higher dollars, obviously in the agreement, we are at $10 million. And the way it works out is it is at a individual site. Each site is evaluated for their needs under compensatory aid in current law, and that is done so now. The way that this is structured is to ensure that the 3-year hold harmless that has occurred the past 3 fiscal years is in the process of now being sunset. And so rather than having any individual school have a rather catastrophic drop, this provides a bit of stability with a 35% drop for individual sites that may have had a very large drop, but on the path to stability and what the long-term financing dollars will be for compensatory aid. So it's at individual site, and it rolls up to each district. Within that, though, there is flexibility for the entire district. 60% of any compensatory aid dollars goes to an individual, each individual site under this law, but 40% can be flexed to whichever site or is deemed necessary by the school district. And this was in response to a request from Senator Rarick to make sure that we were maintaining flexibility while identifying the schools that need it the most. So I think it strikes a good balance. Of course, we'd always love to see more money going to each of our schools, but it provides a bit more while ensuring that schools have flexibility, school districts have flexibility to put the dollars where they need it most. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Clark. Members, let's go through our other testifier, which is Senator Bolden, and then if there are questions for either of the testifiers, we'll do it that way. With that, Senator Bolden, you're online as best we can tell. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Mr. Chair.
Senator Bolden, to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. So my provision is the anonymous threat reporting system. This language is largely similar to what was heard in the Education Finance Committee. Anonymous threat reporting systems are systems that are widely used across the country, proven systems to keep students safe. And so this is really designed at prevention and preventing harm and being able to, for just as it says, for folks to anonymously identify concerns so they can be followed up on, so resources can be provided before something terrible happens. And so this allows for school districts to choose either their own. There are some vended products out there. Sandy Hook is the largest one. So they could choose to do, one of those locally, or they could choose to do the statewide program through the BCA, which comes with no cost. It provides for also funding for that, as was mentioned in the agreement, $5 million. $1 million of that goes for staffing at DPS to ensure that they have the staff and the resources to deal with what is anticipated to be an increase in volume in their current system. As more schools come online utilizing the statewide system, we want to be sure that we are setting them up for success. So this would allow for them to hire a special agent and a criminal analyst and fund those positions for 2.5 years, and then it allows for 6 months of lead time to be able to hire and onboard those folks. It also allows for legacy systems. So there are a few school districts who have a system in place right now that works well for them, and we want them to be able to keep utilizing those systems, and so they don't have to change anything that they are doing. There also, lastly, is a reporting mechanism. So the Department of Education will simply track school districts if they are using a local system or if they're using the statewide system, so we can have some of that data. And this has, come through collaboration with folks in the other body, as well as DPS and the Department of Education, and happy to take questions.
Thank you, Senator Bolden. Members, those are our two in-person testifiers. Are there any questions, comments for either of the two testifiers? If not, we'll go to Mr. Arneson, who will walk through the spreadsheet, and we also have Ms. Lewis here, who can walk through provisions if necessary. Mr. Arneson, welcome to the Senate Finance Committee. Good to see you again. You're on.
Mr. Chair and members, Bjorn Arneson, Senate Council Research and Fiscal Analysis. I believe members have the one-page change item sheet in their materials. There are, as you've heard, two proposals that impact general fund spending in the bill. The first of these is indicated on lines 3 to 5 of the change item sheet. And this is the total of $5 million one time to the Department of Public Safety. Of that amount, $4 million is for grants to schools, and the remaining $1 million is for the DPS threat assessment and investigation activities. And finally, on line 6, there's a compensatory revenue adjustment. In total, this proposal spends $10 million over the forecast base and would be paid under the general education aid payment schedule. And so $9 million of that is paid in state fiscal 27, and the remaining $1 million is paid in state fiscal year 2028. I should note that the DPS appropriations are one time, but they're made available on a longer period and are available till June 30, 2029. And Mr. Chair, that would conclude my walkthrough of the change items.
Thank you, Mr. Arneson. Well done. Members, questions for Mr. Arneson? Seeing none, Ms. Lewis again is here to answer any questions if members have them. Members online, questions for any of the testifiers or for our staff? Seeing none, of course, it's our intention to send this to the floor. Senator Cwodzinski, probably your last bill presentation of your illustrious career. Any comments before we move the bill to the floor?
No, but just thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for taking time out of your life on this beautiful evening to be here. I know it seems like a simple bill, but it's gonna make a big difference in students' lives. And if we've learned one thing since Columbine, it seems like the rumor mill gets out there, and now this anonymous threat system might save some lives, and so very proud of both bills, and I hope by tomorrow, maybe the House will see to it to add some language for high school diplomas for our vets that served in Korea and Vietnam, and maybe something to celebrate the semi-quincentennial. So thank you, members, for being here tonight.
Thank you, Senator Cwodzinski. Members, Senator Pappas moves that House File 2433 as amended be passed and sent to the floor. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion prevails. Senator Cwodzinski, you and Senator Kunesh are on your way to the floor. Members, that concludes the agenda for tonight, and with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking out, those of you in the audience.